What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to the channel. Jason the Overwhelmed Gamer here. In this video, we are ranking the last 6 games that I had the chance to stream. For those that follow along with my streams, you know I do a combination of retro licensed games and homebrew games. So today we're taking a look at the last 6 games I played and seeing how they stack up. Let's get into it. The first game we're taking a look at is Crater Song. It's a super unique NES homebrew game created by Orebody Inc. You can still get physical editions of this game at Premium Edition Games. This was one of the more unique games that I've played in the homebrew scene. The way you control the characters is you control both characters simultaneously, which is super unique, but you hold the NES controllers vertically, both each in one hand, kind of like holding 2 Wii remotes. The first part of the game starts out where you have to move back and forth, either inwards or outwards or both right or left, to try and avoid enemies that are coming towards you. Once that's complete, you move into more of like an overworld scene where you have to take control over both characters, moving them onto different platforms and either singing a song or just standing on them to manipulate the map so you can open up new areas to keep getting across and moving upwards. At the end of each scene, you'll come across a boss battle, which are all a little bit different and all super unique. I did have an absolute blast with this game. The music's great. I thought the graphics did exactly what they needed to do. It's not a super long game, but it's just right. I'm giving Crater Song a B. The next game I played was Super Star Wars for the Super Nintendo. I think most people know what this game's all about. I really liked it. I thought the graphics were really well done. If you're not familiar with Super Star Wars, it's going through the story of A New Hope with taking some liberties on the way, like shooting up Jawas, and some of the boss fights are a little weird as well, where one of the fights is you fight the chess piece that you see in the Millennium Falcon as a boss. So it's definitely not a true representation of the film, but the graphics are really well done, and I forgot how much I loved the sound that the Super Nintendo outputs. The music just keeps you engaged the whole time. You feel like you're right in the Star Wars universe. The worst thing about Super Star Wars, though, is the difficulty. This game is hard. I don't mind a difficult game, but this one really can be frustrating. If you get so far into a level and die and lose all your upgrades to your weapons, you might as well just start the game over. There's no way to get through it otherwise. I did play through this game, but I will admit I used plenty of save states to get through it because I don't know if I have the patience to play something this difficult any longer. Other than that, I'm glad I did play it, but yeah, the difficulty is really what kept it a little bit lower grade than I would have normally given it. I'm sticking Super Star Wars in at a B. All right, back over to the homebrew front, we have Z and Z. This one is brought to us by Tengen Games. Yep, that's right, Tengen Games now lives again. I think Z and Z is a great title for Tengen's new lineup and the first game under Tengen in forever. It's a very arcade type game where you collect the things that are on the stage to move on to the next one. It feels like this could have easily been in an arcade at some point. There are boss battles as you get to the end of each stage, and the boss battles can be pretty challenging, but just kind of that right difficulty where it doesn't get too frustrating. Again, Z and Z isn't a super long game, but it was fun. I had a blast playing it all the way through, and I'm also super excited to see what Tengen has to offer in the future. So Z and Z for me, I'm sticking it in as a B. Moving over to the Sega Genesis, I got a chance to play through Jurassic Park. There was an absolute ton to love about this game. I think the music was okay. I think the graphics were very well done, especially the animations. The character moved very smooth. I really wanted to like this game more than I did. The most frustrating thing about Jurassic Park was the controls. It takes you a while to master the controls of this game because of the animation. And again, I like the animation, but once you once the animation starts, there's no way to stop it mid animation. So there's plenty of times where you try and stop and run the other way, and you just couldn't because it had to finish its animation. And same with the jumping. This game's difficulty wasn't that bad as far as the gameplay goes. The thing that made it the most difficult was the controls. And I don't mind a difficult game, like I've said, but when the controls are the cause of the difficulty and not the actual enemies or world, it can get really frustrating really fast. I'm still glad I had the chance to play this one. I don't think I would play it again. Jurassic Park, for me, it's sitting in as a C. All right, now we are looking at the Storied Sword. This is another homebrew game brought to us by Bite the Chili and in collaboration with Raft Labs. And the best way to describe this game is it's a combination between Ninja Gaiden and Batman for the NES. And I'll tell you, this game is a pure gem. The graphics are great, the controls are great. It is super difficult at times, but it's the right kind of difficulty. By that, I mean it just keeps bringing you back. If you die, you just want to try again until you get it. The controls are spot on. It has that same jump mechanic if you've ever played the Sunsoft Batman game, and just plain fun all around. It's definitely in the top tier of homebrew games that I've played. It also has a bunch of Princess Bride influence, which is super funny. If you haven't played the Storied Sword and you're an NES fan, I encourage you, please go check this game out. It is an absolute must play for any retro video game fan. Storied Sword for me is sitting at an A. All right, last but certainly not least, we have Batman for the NES. I'm not sure why I haven't played this game in the past, but it's the last game that I finished on this list. And man, I don't know where this game's been my whole life. The graphics are absolutely amazing. The stuff that they were able to accomplish with the limited NES palette was breathtaking. The controls are great, and much like the Storied Sword, who obviously took a ton of inspiration from this game, I love those jump mechanics, and the different weapons that you use in the game just enhance everything. The music's great. The boss battles, while super difficult, are also fun once you figure them out. Batman is another must-play for any NES or retro video game fan. I think Batman even makes my top 10 NES games of all time. So for that, Batman for the NES is sitting at an S tier. Yeah, all in all, these last 6 games that I played were all really good. You got Batman sitting at an S, Storied Sword at an A, Crater Song, Super Star Wars, Z and Z all sitting at a B tier, and the low man on this list is Jurassic Park for the Sega Genesis. Well, that's it for my tier list. Let me know in the comments if you've played any of these games, what you thought of the list, and what you would have ranked these games. And if you don't mind doing all the other YouTube stuff, subscribing, liking, hitting a bell, all that other kind of fun stuff, whatever. Anyway, thanks so much for checking this one out, and we will see you in the next video. Late.